Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more.
Welcome to another episode of Action Video Game Talk. I'm your host, Scott Action Jackson. Thanks for joining me today, or tonight, or whenever you're watching or listening to this episode. I do have another list of news articles to go through, so let's go and hop right into them. The Capcom and Squaresoft, this is before it became Square Enix, team-up Super Nintendo RPG Breath of Fire is now available on Wii U's Virtual Console. Originally released in 1993, Breath of Fire features character designs by Kenji Ifari, who is often credited as being the father of Mega Man. In the game, players take on the role of Ryu, who is among the last surviving members of a race that can turn into dragons. This initial entry into the series went on to inspire 4 sequels, with Breath of Fire 6 planned for release this year in Japan on mobile devices. Wait. Let me see if I read this right. Breath of Fire inspired 4 sequels, so there is 5, and then there's a 6th one planned for release in Japan on mobile devices. Why have I only heard of 2 of them then? Because I know that there was only Breath of Fire and Breath of Fire 2 came out on Super Nintendo. I never heard of the rest of these. Unless it is possible that they might have been released only in Japan, which to me is a bunch of bull crap. Okay, so let's get this one thing out of the way. A lot of people who listen to these episodes and, well, more or less the clips, know that I usually have trouble pronouncing some people's names. So this person who was credited as being the father of Mega Man, I probably accidentally got his name wrong, so sorry. It was a Kenji Funi. I do remember playing Breath of Fire, but I don't remember if it was actually on the Super Nintendo, as an actual physical game, or it might have been as one of these ROM and emulators that I probably downloaded at one point. Now, as far as I know, the Breath of Fire games have always been great games. If you do remember playing this game on the Super Nintendo, and want to try and check it out for the Wii U Virtual Console, I know I would be curious to see if the little gamepad has any additional features with the game, which they probably could have figured something for it, but they might not. They just might have that, whole being able to play on the pad if somebody else wants to do something with the TV. Square Enix's fighting game series starring Final Fantasy characters, Dissidia, is getting a new entry for Japanese arcades. Announced at the Japanese Amusement Expo, which is an arcade-focused show, this Dissidia Final Fantasy looks like it will differ somewhat from the PSP titles, with 3 versus 3 battles. You can check out the trailer, which showcases a number of iconic Final Fantasy characters duking it out, some of which have never been seen in such high definition. Right now, the game is only confirmed for Japanese arcade, but Square Enix says more details about the game will be released in April. I know, I probably got the name of the title wrong. Dissidia, whatever. It's the fighting Final Fantasy game. It is the fighting game that they had on the PSP, which I think they had maybe 2 different games. But now this is coming to the arcade, well, at least in Japan at the arcades. I'm guessing at some point we could get this here in the US, but it probably would take a while. And I know myself and the guys at Phantom Knight have been doing the Final Fantasy Legacy series. We haven't come across the PSP Dissidia games yet. If you're curious about the opinions on the PSP games of that, you might want to try to keep an eye on the Phantom Knight stuff for whenever they get around to it. You could probably check out the podcasts, which I think in the podcasts have caught up with Final Fantasy X. I know a few more got recorded, so those might be up hopefully within a couple weeks too. But yeah, if you want to check those out, go and check out Phantom Knight on YouTube, Facebook, and then their podcasts. You can probably find their podcasts anywhere. But as far as this new Dissidia that's coming out, it's gonna be they're gonna have 3-on-3 battles, so it's probably gonna be a bit of an upgrade. Not more than a bit. I mean, it's gonna be in high definition, but it's gonna switch over to probably like a more of a standard type of fighter with 3 guys that you select against 3 guys. But I'll be curious about it, whenever it finally makes its way towards America. During Mortal Kombat's livestream from NetherRealm Studios, it was revealed that Jade will not be returning to the roster for the new game. However, the spirit of Jade will live on in her childhood friend Katana, who has moves inspired by the fighter. 2 unannounced characters for Mortal Kombat X, Sonya Blade and Jax, may have been inadvertently leaked in a Portuguese language video created for Brazil. In the video, the actress providing the voice talent for Cassie Cage is heard reading the lines, "Stay away from my mother," referencing Sonya, and "Are you okay, Uncle Jax? Your joints are cracking." Also teased during the livestream was the possibility of the return of brutalities to Mortal Kombat X as finishing moves, with the team promising its next Mortal Kombat livestream will be more brutal. So let's try to go through like a shorter recap of what this news article covers. First, Jade will not be in this. Secondly, apparently Sonya Blade and Jax could be in this game because apparently the actress who was providing the voice talent for Cassie Cage was saying a few lines that references the characters. So either they're going to be actually fighting in it, because one line read, "Stay away from my mother," which references Sonya Blade, and another one is talking about, her Uncle Jax, and saying his joints are cracking. So it's like, yeah, if it's the same Jax who had metal arms. And then the final thing that was revealed from the news article was the possibility of brutalities returning to Mortal Kombat X. Yeah, back when I think NetherRealm and Warner Brothers decided to partner up and do the Mortal Kombat vs. DC universe, all they could really do is brutalities for finishers, which was, I guess, the less violent route, or the less bloody route, I should say. It is possible, they teased that in the next live stream that they're doing, it will be more brutal, so they probably will be showing off maybe some brutalities in their live stream. I have no problem with Jade not being in the game. I mean, they'll probably have a good amount as far as the character roster, along with who knows how many guest characters they'll have. But I do like that Sonya Blade and Jax could be coming back. I mean, who knows, there could be like a trophy or achievement for having the team of Sonya Blade, Jax, and Cassie Cage. Hell, as far as we know, they could also throw in Johnny Cage in the game at some point. As far as the brutalities, to me the brutalities were, well, most of the finishers when you try to do them have been complicated, but the brutalities seem like they were even more complicated. At least to me they were. Reports emerged that Ubisoft had accidentally leaked the name of a new Assassin's Creed game. It would have been a careless error, as the game subtitled Golden Age appeared in a company recruitment brochure. When reached out to Ubisoft to find out what was going on and received a candid answer. "Before we officially announce a game to the world, we use a working title or code name to refer to a project internally," the company representative said. Assassin's Creed Golden Age was the internal name given to Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. It is not the name of any future Assassin's Creed title. We do know, though, there is a new Assassin's Creed coming in Ubisoft's upcoming financial year, probably this holiday. The company already confirmed a real leak that happened late last year, placing the game in Victorian England. Okay, so apparently Ubisoft does make these recruitment brochures, and on it, some people thought that there was an image for the upcoming Assassin's Creed game, but in fact the image that was on the brochure was for an actual name that was used in the company for the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag game. But yeah, the name was called Assassin's Creed The Golden Age, which, it was the golden age of piracy or whatever. But yeah, they just, the representative from Ubisoft confirmed that it's not the actual name of the game that's coming out, even though there has already been a leak that the next one is supposed to take place in Victorian England. But with brochures, a lot of people should know that brochures probably have older pictures. I mean, they're not going to have, ones that have been made right away. Well, that does it for this episode of Action Video Game Talk. Once again, thanks for joining me today, or tonight, or whenever you're watching or listening to this episode. Later on, I will have the separate clips up if you want to check those out. Down below, I will have the link for the Facebook page if you want to go and check out that page. I think... Until next time, bye!